Right then, hello there. Been trying to make this YouTube video several times now, but YouTube being a bit of a fail keeps failing. So yeah, anyway, try again. Basic gist of it is I'm on night shift and I'm trying to sleep and I'm failing quite badly. And as always happens when you're trying to sleep, there's all sorts of crazy stuff going through your mind. And instead of trying to share them with my mind and therefore not sharing, unless you count the two people who live in my head as two people, I thought I'd share them with the 6 billion other people on the planet, assuming all 6 billion people on the planet have internet connection, which is a pretty poor assumption. And I'm not even sure how valid the number 6 billion is anymore, because it's always changing. So it's probably only ever 6 billion very briefly, and now probably not even close to 6 billion. Anyway, yeah, first things first, with being my first ever YouTube video, is how long can you talk for before people get bored and stop listening? Because when you're in person, it's probably not very long at all, but because of being polite, they don't really walk away. But when you're on YouTube, you quite have to. Does that even make sense? You have to get your ideas out quickly before people get bored and just watch videos of cats doing silly things. So yeah, and actually assume sort of 3 minutes here or there was about what you usually aim for, because that's what songs usually last for, and it's what, well, whenever you open a YouTube video and you see it's 20 minutes long, you usually stop before you even start. So yeah, that's first concern. So let me know if you want to comment and not call me all sorts of crazy things which the usual YouTube comment people would do. Another thing that was on my mind today was I saw this article against cyclists, as every article seems to be these days. It's just whinging about cyclists. It's a bit of an exaggeration. There are other things to write news about, but that's one thing that a lot of people like to complain about quite a lot. And the guy wrote, "There's nothing worse than being stuck behind a cyclist." And the first thing I thought was, I'm sure there are plenty of things worse than being stuck behind a cyclist. Say poverty, or hepatitis, or war, or being fed feet first into a giant belt sander until it gets to your torso and then being dipped in a bathtub full of vinegar. That's probably worse than being stuck in a warm, cosy metal box driving around between your job and your home behind a cyclist. So yeah, bear that in mind next time you tell people there's nothing worse than when you use a blender and it doesn't quite blend your smoothie to the precise level of viscosity that you quite like your smoothie to be. Because there are lots of things worse than that particular situation. So stop saying it unless it really is the worst thing that could possibly happen to you. Just, think outside the box a bit. Another thing which got to me today was like adverts. Well, adverts always get to me, but that's not just today. But long and short of it was, I was watching 4OD and I was watching a series of Peep Show from like several years ago. And I wondered, are the adverts that come on in the middle what the adverts were several years ago when the show was first aired, or are they new adverts which 4 are being paid for? Which obviously seems like the obvious answer, but I thought about it anyway. And one advert which got to me was an advert for this series of Made in Chelsea, and I can't help but think, I wish I lived in an era before Made in Chelsea. Well, I did live in the era before Made in Chelsea, but you don't appreciate the non-existence of things before they exist, obviously, because you don't quite expect the existence and the misery that the existence brings. I mean, I never watched Made in Chelsea, but it looked pretty horrendous. And when people say, "Oh, don't knock it until you've tried it," that's another saying which doesn't really make much sense, because, have you eaten a live jellyfish? If you say no, I'm not going to say, don't knock it till you've tried it. I've never tried it. I'm fairly certain eating a live jellyfish isn't a particularly fun thing to do. Much like taking a drill through your shin. There's plenty of things to do which aren't clever things, regardless of whether people tell you not to knock it until you've tried it or not. So yeah, slight off track there. Another advert which annoyed me was the new John Lewis advert for Christmas. The bear and the hare, who are busy mates and don't eat each other, nor do any of the other mammals in the advert. And the basic storyline is that it's sad because the bear doesn't celebrate Christmas because he's hibernating, whereas all the other hibernating mammals decide not to hibernate and gather around a Christmas tree with lights on and give each other presents. What does an owl give to a fox anyway? Mice? What does the mouse get to give? His life? Here, happy Christmas, mouse. Give your life to another hungry mammal. But anyway, yeah, with all of this talk about, oh, it's so sad and it makes everybody cry, it didn't make me cry. It just made me very confused. And then when the hare dropped the little box at the end of the cave for the bear, I couldn't help but think that it made it wake up to celebrate Christmas. And think, what was in the box? Grenade? A wasp? An alarm clock? I mean, an alarm clock's quite a nice Christmas present. I could do with an alarm clock. But I'm not quite sure what use a bear would have for an alarm clock. And it was quite a small box. So, we'll have to see about that one. But yeah, lots of adverts don't make sense. I'm sure if these YouTube videos catch on, I'll be doing an awful lot more whinging about adverts. Anyway, going back to the start of the video, way past my 3-minute allocation, and even that was an optimistic 3 minutes. So yeah, I should probably stop now, because it's just about to get to 6 minutes. Okie dokes, ta-ta world, speak to you later.